She says, don't let go. Never give up, it's such a wonderful life. Don't let go. Never give up, it's such a wonderful life. Don't let go. Never give up, it's such a wonderful life.
Quite a show. It's Hertz over there, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be seeing them later. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Thank you. Well, it is... Oh, that's noisy. Hello, it's Saturday night. Welcome to the Jonathan Ross Show. Let's start with the big news this week, and I'm sure you'd have seen this in the papers. Archaeologists made a remarkable discovery in a supermarket car park. Richard III. Not a Richard III, not the rhyming slang. No. The Richard III. It's easier to spot Richard III in the car park. He's the one with the hatchback. Richard is famous, of course, for the phrase, he might not have said it, but it was in the Shakespearean play, of course, the phrase, my horse, a kingdom. I've done it wrong. He was famous. Richard is famous... Don't applaud that. Richard is famous for the phrase, horse, my kingdom for a horse. If he was that desperate, he should have gone to Tesco's. Here's a picture of how Richard looked when they dug him up. If you have a look, that was what they found. Already, he's being tipped to host the next series of Strictly Come Dancing. Is that OK? I don't know if that's OK. That's okay. Exciting news. A theme park is going to be built in the town where Osama bin Laden was hiding. OK? True story. I'm looking forward to the roller coaster. Apparently it enters a cave and doesn't come out for 4 years. There'll be a sign which says, if you want to go on one of our rides, your beard has to be this long. OK? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fabulous band on the show this evening. I hope you're fans of them. If you're not, you will be after this. It's Hertz, ladies and gentlemen. They'll be playing later on.
She says, don't let go. Never give up, it's such a wonderful life. Don't let go. Never give up, it's such a wonderful life.
Hertz, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who else is on the show tonight. We've got a great programme lined up for you. My first guest is the world's cutest scientist. It is Professor Brian Cox. There he is. Hello. A brilliant man, a brilliant young man. Brian is a big fan of Oldham Athletic. Is that right?
And what a victory. Liverpool 2, Oldham 3.
Wow.
One of the great FA Cup ties of all time.
So you still go and see them play?
I haven't seen them for a long time, actually, but I believe that it's one of the coldest places in the universe, actually, apparently.
How do you figure that out?
Well, you get temperature, don't you? Thermometer. Anyway.
I'm just checking.
What do you mean?
Oh, he's doing his research. OK, that explains it then. You will have to explain things to me, you know that. Professor Brian Cox, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thrilled he's back on the show. I'm a huge fan. I'm sure you are too. My next guest is one of our brightest young actresses. She was the star of Captain America, the fantastic wrestlers as well. It's the wonderful Hayley Atwell. Hello, Hayley. Good evening. Now, Hayley says she wants to play Wonder Woman. Is that right? You'd like to play Wonder Woman in the movie?
Maybe, yes,
I'd like
yes.
to see that.
Yes, absolutely.
You'll have to fight some strong competition. I believe David Walliams has already put his name down for the part. So.
You look amazing in that outfit. I'm sure he's worn that a couple of times.
Hayley Atwell, ladies and gentlemen. She's on the show. OK, I'm very excited to tell you that my next guest is a music legend. He is the phenomenal Adam Ant. Adam Ant right there. Evening, Adam. Adam's new album, the new album is quite a mouthful. It's called Adam Ant is the Blueback Hussar in Marrying the Gunner's Daughter. That's the full title?
Correct.
That's such a long title. By the time you've asked for that in HMV, they'll have gone out of business. That's a long...
Thank you.
Adam Ant. Adam Ant. All right, and then we have more... My next guest is one of America's finest actors. He's starred in so many fantastic movies, from Gangs of New York, and with Will Ferrell, he's in Talladega Nights, to his Oscar-nominated performance in Chicago. Now, he nearly didn't make it here tonight as he's suffering from the norovirus. Ladies and gentlemen, we won't be touching him, but we're happy to have him with us, Mr. John C. Reilly. Look at that. Bravely, thank you for making it in. I know how awful it is.
Happy to be here.
It's a horrible thing. When did it kick in?
This morning. I can't believe I'm here. If you saw the condition of me this morning.
Wow.
Is the phrase, the sluice is opened at both ends,
wow.
mean anything? Anyway, I'm here. Very happy to be here. And if I can get through without making sick...
Well,
then,
you know what? If you do have to make sick, or if the sluice has to open at the other end, do it there in the green room.
Oh, okay.
John C. Reilly, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thrilled he's on the show. Thank you for coming, John. Great to have you here. Now, that's the show. Just before we get to that, I want to show you something. This is a genuine thing that we've been sent in. I don't know if you've seen this. Have a look at this. Anyone got any idea what this is? It's a special shoe. Someone just said a brown shoe. Since when did a brown shoe qualify as being a special shoe? No, this is a shoe phone. Look at this. There's a phone, a working phone, built into the sole of this shoe. I think you can get them from Phones for Shoe. OK, and if you think people talking on their hands-free look weird, imagine how it would be if you see someone walking down the road talking like that. One sock on, the other shoe there, and chatting away. People think you've had a breakdown. This looks cool, though. I think this looks pretty cool. We have to send this back. It actually works. I'll demonstrate in a minute. I want to take a picture of it. I've got my other phone here, so I'll take a picture of it on my other phone. OK? That's pretty good. Let's see if it works, shall we? I'm going to dial. I've got someone's number here. So. I can't get a signal. Hold on. That's better. Wow. Ryan, are you... We've had a word with the doctors. Tell John he's coming on first.
Does this look strange?
It looks strange, but you should try this one. I've got dog crap in my ear now from this one. Let's get my first guest out. He is one of my favourite screen actors. Here he is in action with the brilliant Will Ferrell in the fantastically funny Step Brothers.
We did it.
We did it!
It looked amazing.
Look at that! That looks like what you would buy from a store.
It should have been.
Look at all the
that
floor
up.
space.
So
You
much,
do aerobics in here.
so many activities.
Do step class.
It's making my head spin. How many activities we can do?
Play arm man.
Yeah.
This is how we do it.
Da, 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 da.
Hey, you're actually.
Yeah.
You like guacamole?
That's a brilliantly funny film. Two great lead performances. Will you please welcome Mr. John C. Reilly? I'm going in for a hug. John C. Reilly, great. I'm so pleased you made it. Come and sit yourself down. Take a load off. Well,
I'm just going to make a quick call, Jonathan. One second.
Now, look. Where's my orange phone? You know, I showed a clip there, Step Brothers, which I didn't see when it first came out. I only saw that recently. What a great film, and what a great on-screen chemistry there is between you and Will. Did you know each other for a while before you started making movies together?
Yeah, we knew each other socially. We met when he was still on Saturday Night Live, and yeah, where's our Christmas picture? That was my mom's sweater. I took the shoulder pads out. That's what my character says.
So, I've seen you've made a few films together. Will you make more? I would hope that we would see you on screen again.
I hope so. They're working on the sequel to Anchorman right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Adam and Will. Yeah.
That's pretty... But you weren't in the first one.
No, I was meant to be, and then I was off doing, actually, I think The Aviator with Martin Scorsese, so I thought, well, I better just stick with a good thing. But I do regret it. I really do regret it.
Yeah. So they're going to put you in the sequel?
I hope so. You know, there's that whole scene, there's that gang fight in the original one,
yeah.
which was based on Gangs of New York, another movie I was in. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be in the gang fight.
You've been in so many movies, though. I mean, for years. You know, there was barely an independent movie that came out of America that didn't have you in. I thought maybe there was some kind of quota. Maybe you had some kind of a deal with them because you were in... I mean, how many movies were you making?
Just dumb luck, I guess. Yeah, in 2002 at the Oscars, I was in 3 of the best 5 pictures of that year,
Wow,
which has never been done before.
Wow. Incredible. The new movie you're in, of course, you're in, but you're not in a way. It's a kind of, it's an unusual thing because it's a new Disney movie. It's out now. It's called Wreck-It Ralph. I saw it last year. I was desperate to see it because of the subject matter. Explain what the premise is.
Well, it takes place in the world of video games, not just like modern-day video games, but video games back in the heyday, you know, when I was playing video games.
Early days.
In the late 70s. It's 8-bit kind of arcade games. Anyway, my character is this guy, Ralph, who's the bad guy in a video game called Fix-It Felix Jr. The whole object of the game is to fix this building before Ralph destroys it. And he has this, like, midlife crisis. After 30 years of being a bad guy, he just decides, like, it doesn't feel good to be the bad guy. Like, I want people to like me. I want to be the hero every once in a while. And so he goes off on this forbidden journey. He leaves his game. He goes through the power cord of the game and goes into other video games in the arcade. So he gets much more than he bargains for, and Sarah Silverman plays this little girl in this kind of Candyland game called Sugar Rush, and we become unlikely friends, and we kind of help each other.
Well, let's have a look at the clip, because it's really great fun, but it's surprisingly moving. I found it very touching.
Well, thanks. We tried really hard to make it have some heart and not just be some big, loud, crazy, kinetic thing.
It looks great. It is loud and crazy and kinetic, but it's also, you're right, it's got a heart. Here's the clip. This is Wreck-It Ralph. Look at this.
I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
You can't mess with the program, Ralph.
You're not going turbo, are you?
Turbo? No, I'm not going turbo. Come on, guys. Is it turbo to want a friend? Or a medal? Or a piece of pie every once in a while? Is it turbo to want more out of life?
Yes.
Ralph, we get it. But we can't change who we are. And the sooner you accept that, the better off your game and your life will be.
Hey, one game at a time, Ralph.
Great fun. And what's so lovely about the film is that you see all of the characters from kind of all of the games. If ever you play video games or be in an arcade, you'll recognise that there was Pac-Man in that there, of course, and so many of the different characters. It really kind of sort of grounds it in the reality of the world.
Yeah, a lot of people are really excited to see their favorite characters, whether it's Sonic Hedgehog or, you know, Tapper. You know that game Tapper? I don't know if you ever played that game.
That's the beer game where they...
Yeah, it's an odd game for kids in an arcade, like, drink your beer.
Okay, look, I thought I wanted to test you. I have some sound effects some things from very early video games.
All right.
Let's see if you know any of these. Okay, have a listen. Let's play the first one.
That's Donkey Kong.
No.
Super Mario?
Hold on.
I have a lifeline.
Play.
I'm going to get them all wrong. Tetris.
Yes!
You gave it away.
Well, that's what I was doing, giving it away. But the beginning bit, it did sound like that. We didn't give you enough of it, and you got the Noah virus.
Yeah. What is this, Nora? Is it like a little girl named Nora? Like, let's make him vomit again. It's just such a personal name, Nora.
No,
like,
it's not Noah. It's Noah. It's not
Nora.
Noah. It's not Noah's virus.
It's like the Josh virus. It's the Henry virus.
Okay, let's go. I'm enjoying this gun now. Let's have some more of this.
That's Pac-Man.
That is Pac-Man. That was pretty good. That was incredible. Hardly a noise, eh? You want to do another
one? Take that, Nora.
You okay with another one?
Yes.
Here we go. Let's have another one.
Oh, that's Space Invaders.
Yes! That's an old favorite.
Wow. I do know this stuff. Are there prizes given out for this or something?
Yes, you will win a banana which has been infected with the Noah virus. Brian, you're no one. You must have spent... You're clearly the type... Because you used to... No, I love them too. I love them too, but you used to spot buses for pleasure. You were a bus spotter.
I used to spot buses, and once I got a fuse box for my birthday.
Wow. I don't know whether we should even put that out. That's too heartbreaking, isn't it? A fuse box for your birthday?
Just what I wanted.
Fuse box?
It had 4 fuses in it. I used to wire my shed up.
It wasn't on a list you put out, was it? You didn't actually ask for it, did you?
I did. I asked for a fuse box.
Oh.
I think I asked for an 8-way, but, you know, you can spoil a child.
Yeah, 8-way, that's it. Okay, well, let's see if that fuse box worked well enough to power a video game. Let's have a listen. We can do one more. Anyone in there who knows this one? You ready? Let's play it.
Sonic the Hedgehog. shop.
Wow, Hayley got it straight out the... How did that happen?
Where was even finished?
Did you get it?
No.
So, John, when John comes over, this is something I admire about you. You make these trips fun for yourself. You come over to do press. Hopefully, you quite enjoy the experience of that. Hopefully, you enjoy the fact
so far, so good.
We made you sit here with flu
This
and talk.
morning, doing one interview after the other where I wasn't sure if I was going to spew was not that fun, but this is great.
But the reason why I think it's fun is you come over, you always perform. You bring your band, or you hook up with the band and you perform over here?
Yeah, you know, I realized at some point, like, I can bring whoever I want, you know, rather than bring a hairstylist, which is important for me. I decided, like, I have this band, why don't I bring my friends with me? We do shows. I have done a few here in the United Kingdom, and we're going to do one more in Glasgow on Tuesday night at St. Andrews on the Square.
And this is what, your own music or R&B covers, that kind of thing?
No R&B. It's old traditional music, old folk music.
I thought you might do a bit of R&B.
Hey, I've got some R&B in me, but just not with this band.
Okay.
We do like old country songs and old traditional folk music and bluegrass music and a lot of harmony and all around one microphone. It's really fun.
Before we let you go, you mentioned your hair. And is it a
Please, let's talk about my hair.
Is it a problem for you, your hair? I mean, I like curly hair, but it's I guess there's not much you can do with it.
It's not a problem for me. I can't see it. You know, it's a problem for other people. It tends to, it'll take on shapes, you know, you can adjust it. You know, one thing my kids recently pointed out to me was, they said, Dad, your eyebrows do this weird thing. Here, I'll show you. Like, this is the calm, happy me, yeah? And then you go, this is the crazy me. I don't know. I worked a long time to get those eyebrows like that. So I'm very proud of that.
I'm glad we got to see them. The movie Wreck-It Ralph is just great fun. I loved it. And I loved meeting you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John C. Reilly. We'll let you go home, go back to the hotel, get some sleep. I'm not going to touch skin. Thank you so much. John C. Reilly, ladies and gentlemen. You go and get yourself well. Okay, we're just going to get this ready. We're just going to get this ready for the next guest. Don't take this personally, John. Thank you. Okay, after the break, I'll be joined by Hayley Atwell on our newly disinfected couch, so don't go away. Don't miss anything there. You might want to... Welcome back to the show. Hayley Atwell will be coming out in just a minute, but first I thought, you know, we have one of the greatest scientific minds in the green room, Brian Cox. I'll be chatting to him a while, but I thought maybe the other guests might want to join him before he comes out here. So I have a scientific question for you, and I'm going to encourage you. Oh, John, I see there. Okay. All right. Please don't take it personally, John.
No.
I'm glad that banana's getting put to good use. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you a quick question, Brian. Just a yes or no answer will be fine. Whether it's possible, one thing I would like to see science work on, teleportation.
Yes, it's already been done. Wow. For single subatomic particles. But...
Never mind but.
But the principle is there.
The principle's there.
Maybe.
So maybe we can avoid the rush hour one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, John has a question.
Is science getting closer to discovering a cure to the norovirus?
No.
Okay.
Some biologists don't consider viruses to be alive because they can only reproduce.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
They need a host to reproduce.
This looks like a really weird nature show there, like you're observing. I don't know who's watching who. Hey, we're going to let him go home, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great sport. Let's hear it again for John C. Reilly.
I'm
John,
running
thank
out
you
of
so
air.
much. There you go.
Go on. I won't touch any of you.
Yeah. Take care. Okay. So let's get my next guest out. Before she does come out here, let's hear an action in the fabulous Captain America. Here she is.
Recruits, attention! Gentlemen, I'm Agent Carter. I supervise all operations for this division.
Must be the accent, Queen Victoria. Thought I was signing up for the U.S. Army.
What's your name, soldier?
Gilmore Hodge, Your Majesty.
Step forward, Hodge. Put your right foot forward.
You gonna wrestle? Because I got a few moves I know you'll like.
Agent Carter. Colonel Phillips.
I can see that you are breaking into candidates. That's good. Get your ass up out of that dirt and stand in that line at attention until somebody comes tells you what to do.
Yes, sir.
There she was in action. Here she is on the couch. Hayley Atwell, ladies and gentlemen. You haven't got it, have you? Did you touch John? Have you got anything? No. Poor guy.
I stay well away from him.
But that's the terrible thing. When you know someone's got it, you don't want to touch them, but you don't want to be rude.
No, what do you do?
You do the fist bump. You go that. You don't shake hands. You do that, and then you. Well, you can touch me. I haven't got anything yet. There, and then you wipe it off like that.
Do that.
And just
Quite
don't put your whole fist in your mouth afterwards, though. That's how you do it.
Why would you? Okay.
To show off. Hey, so congratulations. I love Captain America. And I guess would that be right, that was your first blockbuster movie, your first one of those big-budget American-style films?
Yeah, I'd done lots of theatre and TV in Britain, and this was the first kind of studio thing that I had to go into. So it was exciting, pretty overwhelming. But we played a lot of computer games, which is why I kind of know a little bit.
So you knew Sonic immediately. Even though you were kind of the love interest in it, but at the same time, it was nice because your part had some action to do. You were in there with the boys, roughing up like we just saw there. Much training for that? Did you have to get in good shape for that?
Yes, I had the same trainer as Bond, who's an ex-Marine. And we had lots of sessions together. And my first session, though, I kind of, gave it 100%, thought I can do this. And I turned green, threw up, and had to be sent home. Ooh. So, yeah, it was horrid.
Your upbringing, I was reading about Hayley, obviously, and I didn't realise you had such an interesting upbringing. I thought you were kind of a traditional English Rose type.
No.
But your father was a Native American Indian, or he is still a native.
Yeah, he was... I mean, he's
just
still
checking
here.
he hasn't changed and...
Yeah, he was very interested in it and looked back at his ancestry and found out that there was a link there, and he was very into studying it, shamanism and that sort of thing. So I went over when I was 17 to do a kind of a sweat lodge.
Okay, so what is a sweat lodge? I've heard of it, I'm not quite sure what they are.
So there's a pit, and you gather rocks and you heat the rocks all day, and you build like this kind of igloo around it, and then you go inside like a kind of a cave, and everyone's naked, and it's pitch black, and it creates like a sauna, so it's like a cleansing thing. Physically, it's very, very good for you. And then, many cultures, ancient tradition of using it as prayer and ceremonial, and there's drumming and all that. But my task was to find the rocks that wanted, to put in the pit. But I was told that I couldn't just go and collect rocks. I actually had to ask if they wanted to come. It was so mad, but I was like, no, I'm absolutely respecting that this is a very important part in the culture.
Did any of the rocks say no?
Yeah, well, I was quite naive, and I was on my own, so I could have not done it, but I just went and sat and just went, do you want to come? It's nice and warm in there. And then just went, no, okay, no, nothing. You're giving me nothing. And then I was like, I've only got 20 minutes late. Oh, God, okay. And I just gathered loads. I'm like, you all want to come. Come on. You all want to come. It's great, isn't it? So, yeah, it was... I didn't... I tried my best, but I wasn't fully immersed in the world of it.
Let me ask you about Black Mirror, then, because this starts Monday night. I don't know how many people saw the first series of Black Mirror on Channel 4, but it was just, I thought, really unexpectedly great. I thought it'd be good, but unexpected. And I've seen the episode you're in, which I just thought it was incredible. Remarkable, because presumably it was quite a low-budget thing. Mm-hmm. It's a science fiction thing, but it's all on you, mainly, you and one other performer who's terrific. Who's the actor with you?
Donald Gleeson, yeah.
He's great,
brilliant.
isn't he? Tell it, without spoiling it, because it's one of those things that has a real kind of, it's a real twist.
Yeah.
And angle it. Without spoiling it, how much can you tell us about it? Before we show the clip, how could you set up what happens in it?
It's essentially about grief, but it's in a kind of modern-day way of exploring that. And it's about a woman who loses someone in her life, and she discovers that there is an app that you can download, and you put in all of his internet online activities, so his Facebook status updates, his tweets, his emails, anything that he had done online.
Anything visible online that was from him.
And it will simulate him in a chat, and it's scarily accurate. And it begins with that, and she's very, in a kind of moment of desperation. I guess it's a study of how far we go when we're desperate and grieving, and she becomes kind of obsessed with it. And then that's how it kind of begins, and that's the journey she goes on.
Let's have a look. This is Black Mirror. It's Monday night on Channel 4, and I recommend it highly. Look at this.
So, how am I sounding? Hello?
Hello. You sound just like him.
Almost creepy, isn't it? I say creepy, I mean it's totally batshit crazy I can even talk to you. I mean, I don't even have a mouth.
That's just...
Just what?
It's just the sort of thing that he would say.
Well, that's why I said it.
It's quite chilling, isn't it? Just that little clip, you can see it's quite a chilling idea. But then the story goes other places, so you should watch it because there's more to it than that. But it's a brilliant thing. Brian is going to be doing an experiment at the end of the show. I'm looking forward to finding out what that is. Okay.
There's a reason it's at the end of the show, because I was worried that may well be the end of the show.
OK, well, I shall look forward to it, I think. But you had something as well. You had something you could demonstrate as well, you said.
Yeah, it's quite weird, and I'll look like a blowfish when I do it. And it's really, really, really odd. I'm trying to get it right. I have a little voice inside my mouth. I stuck it, Serie, I can't get out. Yeah.
Why didn't you do the whole interview like that? That would have been incredible.
I could, yeah. You have to... Do you want to try it?
Well, I don't know, I'm just enjoying watching.
I stuck it, Serie, I can't get out.
OK, first of all, how did you learn you could do this?
It's hereditary. My mother passed it on as a gift.
OK, so you do the
So you puff out your cheeks and you blow. So you go... and then you start making sound.
Pretty good?
Are you going to be sick?
I think so.
You understand?
How are you doing that? I don't know how you're doing that. A fabulous party trick.
Yeah.
Brian, what would be the scientific explanation of this?
That's a genuine talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, the genuinely talented Hayley Atwell. Thank you so much. OK, we're going to take a break, but join me afterwards. I will be here with the one and only Adam Ang, so don't go away. Welcome back. OK, it is time for my next guest. Before he joins me out here, let's remind ourselves of some of his greatest moments. Take a look at this. The king of the wild frontier himself, the blue-back hussar, Mr. Adam Ants. Looking dandy. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for coming on. Thank you. Come and sit down. I'm so excited you're on. You know, I've been trying to get you on shows over the years. I know sometimes you're away, sometimes you're busy, sometimes you just said no, sometimes you weren't well. Finally, we got you here, so thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I think people forget just what an enormous career. At the peak, the kind of success that you had was phenomenal. I've got some figures here. 15 million records sold, 22 hits in 15 years, 8 singles in the top 40 at one time.
Yeah.
That's back when it was hard to get into the charts.
Yes, yeah.
You had to say...
I don't know. At that time, it happened all so quick, and we sort of had 3 years of, as you know, playing the punk clubs and getting no, and you know, kind of getting a lot of rejection. Then suddenly, went on top of the pops, and then they released all the old stuff. So I was really heartbroken when Young Parisians went to 108, and then it went in the top 10. So it eventually caught up with me. So
and that at the time people called it Ant Mania, of course. It was the kind of big thing. It was like the sort of thing that One Direction are going through now, and it was all focused on you. So what was it like being at the centre of that at the time? What do you remember of that level of mania?
It's a bit, to be honest, it's a bit of a blur. But I'd had so long of having sort of rejection, and like you know, I was really determined to make it work. So when it happened, I just got my head down and just did every interview and just took every opportunity to make it last.
And when was it when you realised that you were, you know, as big as you were? I mean, when did it sort of dawn on you? I mean, was it when did you get recognised more, or was it just a kind of level of awareness about the music being played everywhere? Or?
To be honest, it was actually meeting Her Majesty the Queen. I did it at a Royal Variety Show. And I took all the gear off and put on a suit, and I thought, oh, you know, I'll be very formal, I'll dress very nice and tone it down. And the Queen came along and shook my hand and leaned over and said, hello, Adam, I didn't recognise you without your makeup. I thought, you know, she knows my name. But it was a real... That was kind of probably the moment I realised it got a bit big.
Where did that come from, the look with the kind of the hussar's jacket and the white stripe?
I've always drawn on, you know, history as a real... influence on the work. I loved history at school, so you know, my home's full of various historical references, and I just really thought it was time, after the punk thing, it got a bit grey, a bit political, a bit dull, and time for colour and heroic, piracy, highwaymen, the Native American Indian culture, which had a sort of bravery about it, and it sort of just all went together and worked.
And those, I think the costumes, you've donated them to the V&A, haven't you? They're in the Victorian Museum.
Yeah, they're in the V&A, and it's kind of weird. I popped in there with my daughter about 6 months ago, and she didn't realise, and then she was like, oh, wait a minute, Dad, you know. No, that's Brian Eno, love, that's me.
How old is your daughter?
She's 15.
Wow, 15?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, the greatest achievement in my whole life is my daughter, definitely. It's wonderful.
That's very sweet. When you became a pop star, and you were about as big as a pop star could be, was it what you wanted?
I think it was strange because it was kind of going from that early audience. The most upsetting thing was we had a sort of very clandestine audience of punk rockers and Mohicans and really loyal fans. And I think the most heartbreaking moment was kind of seeing that go, seeing the disappointment to some of the old fans that I really knew on a you know, name-to-name basis. They used to come to all the shows, and that was quite upsetting, seeing that the fact that I was no longer belonged to them anymore. But I had to make that conscious decision, and then I just thought, you know, TV had kind of made me overnight. It had gone right across to so many people, so I just basically thought I'm going to get on as many TV shows as I can, and so in a way it wasn't what I expected it to be, but it was a lot more hard work than I ever imagined it would ever be.
And so was that what kind of like, because you'd had a history of mental problems before, hadn't you? Was that what kind of pushed you over the edge, do you think?
Yeah, bipolar disorder. I think that with me it was really, I'd always taken a sort of like examinations at school. I took them very, very seriously, like my life depended on it, which it didn't, but I imagined it did. And then I think I took on this very kind of overwork program. Anything I did, I had to work and work, and certainly when I got an opportunity I had a hit record, I just didn't stop working. That was one element. The other elements is obviously the sort of chemical conditions, the serotonin balances in the brain, which later on, fortunately, through the help of my doctors, they explained to me why it happens, what are the trigger things that can trigger it off. But I think creative people, primarily because they have to make a living out of abstract ideas, it's not something you check in. You're sort of constantly competing with yourself, and I think that it makes you quite vulnerable to very dark thoughts. And bipolar disorder is something that really means highs and lows, and an artist does need the dark as well as the light.
But you seem to be in a really good place now creatively. You've got a new album out, and it's really good stuff, and you must be pleased about performing it. And I'm going to see if we can get Adam out. He couldn't do it this evening because we've already had Hertz booked, and we're very excited about that. But I'd love Adam to come back on the stage and perform live, and I think you'd like to see him perform live, wouldn't you? So we'll try and get you back on another week. I'd love that. But you seem to be, well, am I right in thinking you're kind of in a better place than you have been for quite a while?
Yeah, I think since I took a 17-year period off, during some of that time I didn't ever imagine I'd make another record. I didn't imagine I'd ever go on stage again. Since then I've done 130 concerts, and I've got a double album out. So that, you know, that's it really.
That's fantastic news. Well, the album, let me remind you, I've got it here. The album's title again is Adam Ant is the Blueback Hussar in Marrying the Gunner's Daughter. I'm going to show you a clip of Adam performing his new single from it. This is Cool Zombie. Enjoy this.
We haven't seen you in a
in marrying the Gunners Order. That's Cool Zombie from the album. That's a single as well. And Adam is playing live at the Roundhouse in on May the 11th, isn't he?
Yeah, 35 years since I supported X-Ray Specs there. So
in that same building. I'm going to go and see that there.
Thank you.
I might not wear my bondage trousers. I might spare you that, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I want to get you back on the show live. Ladies and gentlemen, will you join me in saying thank you to the fabulous Adam Ant? Awesome. Join me after the break. I'll be talking to the one and only Professor Brian Cox, and we have Hertz performing live, so don't go away. Welcome back. It's time for my next guest this evening. He is the nation's favourite former boy band member turned scientist. It is Professor Brian Cox. Really a boy band, were they? That's not really accurate. D-Ream, they weren't really a boy band, were they?
No.
Not really.
We were getting on a bit even then.
Hey, would I be right in thinking, I think certainly in this country, but maybe in the world, you're one of the best-known scientists on the planet now, but certainly here in the UK, you must be our best-known scientist.
I suppose, well, Stephen Hawking, of course.
All right, OK, yes, all right. Okay.
He's been on The Simpsons.
Yeah. Have they asked you yet?
No.
No, it won't be long, I'm sure. But you are now, whether you like it or not, you have become a celebrity in your own right now. You are famous for your shows, famous for your books. Is that something... Do you enjoy that, or would you rather that hadn't happened? Does it get in the way of the science that you used to do and still like to do?
It does a bit. I mean, I've gone back to the university, so I go back to Manchester in the autumn term. I teach first years. And that was a decision. I'd kind of avoided students for my whole career.
That's a very good... You know, I've tried to do that my whole life.
but then after the TV shows, I wanted to start thinking again. So I teach the first year, quantum mechanics and relativity. And it's funny because, you know, you think, like you said, you know, I'm on television, I get recognised a lot. And so there's a moment for about a minute when you walk into the lecture theatre and they're there and it's that bloke on telly. But then the moment you start writing, someone says, bigger writing, speak up a bit. I don't understand. And they forget within a minute because they've got to do an exam.
So it's back into you're just another professor.
Yeah.
You're just another teacher. So let's talk about your new show, and the show is called Wonders of Life. Just started on BBC Two. Explain what the premise is.
It's a science show. Yeah. So the question is, what do we know about the origin of life on Earth? What do we know about how it went from the simple to the complex over 3.8 billion years?
You're really entering into biology here as well, aren't you? It's not just kind of the physics with which you know your name. I guess
I have to touch animals as a... Actually, I saw...
He means on the show, he doesn't mean right now. That sounds like you were saying, right now, I have to touch something.
That's kind of got... I've always felt the need to touch animals. Not like... No, but actually...
What a strange place to make this confession.
I'm quite... see, I never went fishing as a child, for example. And I think in the one that was on last week, I had to hold this catfish, this giant thing.
Yeah, that was a big
fish.
fish.
Big, it's enormous. And they said to me, it's all right, it won't move when it's out of the water if you keep hold of it. But in the water, they can pull you under, they can drown you, those things. So they were saying, so I just trusted them and held it, and indeed it just sat there. But then I had to put it back over the boats, and the moment you put it in the water, the thing goes like that.
And they have weird, different kind of nervous system, just don't they? They have a different receptors on the outside of their body.
They live in rivers like the Mississippi, it's full of silt, so they don't need eyes, really. So their eyes are next to useless. But they're like they're one giant tongue, if you can imagine that. The whole thing is like a taste sensor, and it tastes the water, and it can build up a 3D picture of the river, and it can hunt, but by detecting chemicals in the water rather than seeing.
I don't believe any of that.
Why?
A giant tongue living in a river? What's wrong with you, Cox? And you're teaching young people this nonsense?
There's stranger things than that.
I know, that's what I love about the show. I'm obviously joking. There are so many strange things, so many weird creatures. Let's have a look at you with something, because this is sort of, for you, I suppose, moving into slightly new territory, certainly in your TV career. Let's have, this is a Wonders of Life. I can't recommend it highly enough. I love it.
Look what we've just found. We were out looking for giraffe this morning. We've found about 10 of them just over there. But in looking for the giraffe, we've just found a leopard. This is one of the top predators out here. He's got very little to fear, apart from other leopards and maybe lions. Now, he's looking for protein, and I'm a little bit worried because I'm protein.
Right there. That's a clip from tomorrow night's episode of Wonders of Life.
That was, it was genuinely frightening, that. The arranger told us it won't come in the Land Rover. But it was like a little, you know, you got a little kitten, and you put... Because the sound pole is like that, with a big fluffy bit on the end, and the sound man... And he started playing with it. We said, don't do that. So it becomes it'll be like a blender. You know, I mean, they really are beautiful, but frightening animals.
OK, so the book is a fabulous, lavish book out to accompany the series Wonders of Life. It really is, and it's incredible photographs and also incredible science in here, which I guess is, and that's one of the things you do best, I think, which is communicating these very complex ideas to people like me who don't necessarily have the knowledge that's necessary to grasp it any other way. So it comes to, and I normally forget it after I've put the book down, but I love it while I'm reading it. It doesn't stay in my head that long. Now, water is crucial to life on this planet, and that I got from your programme, but I knew that one already. But the electrolysis of water is something you'd like to demonstrate this evening. Now,
Yes.
why is this important?
The
What does
reason
this
is
mean?
because we wanted to see an experiment, and even a plant can do this. So I thought it was the ideal experiment to try.
Even I can do it.
Well, I mean, the point is that, so you're going to see, it's difficult to split water.
So we're going to split water into what?
Into hydrogen and oxygen, which
So
are
that's
component parts. But we're going to do it with a car battery, a big car battery.
Well,
so
I have a car. They put this behind me. I'm a bit... Oh, blimey, it's a heavy one. So I'll put that there. Yeah. There's a car battery they bought in. If I could ask your assistant...
Bryson.
Come on. Bryson, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right. The slight problem with this is it's a bit dangerous.
You see in the Muppets?
Don't say that to him. You know what he could do with those.
But I was only asking.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect the battery up.
OK, you've connected the battery up.
Right.
Okay,
as soon as we connect the battery up, that's water in there. It's breaking it down into hydrogen and oxygen.
So there's metal things going down into the water.
Yeah.
And the electricity is going to the water, and it's...
Yeah, we're ripping the oxygen molecules apart.
Wow.
And bubbling a gas into there. Now, I want to demonstrate what this gas is. Put some of that on your hand. I'm going to bubble it into there.
This is just washing up liquid?
Now, have you heard of the Hindenburg?
Yes, I have. Oh,
what happened to it?
It exploded.
Yeah. So the interesting thing... The thing is, hydrogen and oxygen want to be together. Water's a very stable molecule. So it's a remarkable thing that every blade of grass in your garden can do this.
Yeah, well,
without
let's
a car
talk here.
battery.
More experimenting. Come on,
I'm
let's
doing
do
some
it.
science. I'm educational value. I just
No
don't
one
want
cares. They want to
blow
hear a
you
bang.
up. Well, you're going to go up like a...
Whoa! Holy Christmas! Oh! I've got a big ringing going on right now. Wow!
I cannot hear a bang. You're just a bang.
OK, let's do that one.
Go on.
Should we do the big one? OK, I'm going in. Oh, mother. Jeez. Wow. Wow. So that's just water. That is just water and washing up liquid.
That's what water is made of, hydrogen, which is extremely flammable and reacts back with the oxygen in the atmosphere into water again if you give it a little kick.
And so that is the Big Bang.
It was a Big Bang. It's going to take me a while to recover from that, actually.
That was really quite horrible. But so why did we have the soap liquid to make the bubbles?
Yeah,
to maintain
so we're filling it with hydrogen. So that's hydrogen gas, which is the most common element in the universe. 75% of the universe is made of hydrogen.
Ah, OK, that was great. Wasn't that great? That was a great experiment. And we are now all professors of physics. How great to have you here again. I love your shows, and I always enjoy spending time with you. Professor Brian Cox, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. That was great. Thank you. All right, thanks to all my guests tonight. Next week, I will be joined here by Anton Deck, Hollywood star Tim Roth will be here, and the fantastic Tesla. But now, to finish the show, performing Miracle, it is Hertz.
Look at all of the damage you have you crucify.